Shabbat Shalom. When I first heard the news of the arson attack at Governor Josh Shapiro's home, after I learned that the governor and his family were safe, thank God, the first question that arose in my mind was, did the attacker hate Governor Shapiro from the right or from the left? It seemed equally likely that the person who committed this violent act of anti-Semitism came from either of the two sides of our political spectrum, a telling statement in and of itself. Some of you may have read the governor's piece in the New York Times acknowledging that people ascribe their own beliefs onto the attack, suiting their own narratives, but that ultimately it doesn't matter what side or what party this violence comes from, it just has to stop. As more information surfaced, we learned that the culprit was a 38-year-old man named Cody Balmer, who was motivated by his belief that Shapiro is killing Palestinians. Palestinians have been put through too much by that monster, Balmer reportedly said. This sounds like an attack from the left. But as I kept learning more about Balmer, I read that he had urged his family to vote for Trump in the 2024 presidential election and had posted on social media that Biden supporters shouldn't exist. The villain of this story falls on both sides of our political spectrum. It's not my job as a rabbi to dissect an arsonist's political leanings, but it is my job to call out anti-Semitism whenever and wherever I see it, and to encourage you to do the same, especially on this Shabbat immediately following Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. To set fire to a Jew's home on the first night of Passover is anti-Semitic. To blame the actions of the Israeli government on one American Jew is anti-Semitic. To single out one politician, a Jewish politician, for views on Israel that are shared by many is anti-Semitic. We could theorize all day about the nature of anti-Semitism, and we can remind ourselves of the need to be upstanders, not bystanders. But we must take it a step further. I am aware that there are people in this community who lean more to the right and people who lean more to the left. We are a politically diverse congregation. In the past 2 weeks, I have heard people on the left say, of course this guy committed a violent act of anti-Semitism. He's a Trump supporter. And I've heard people on the right say, of course this guy committed a violent act of anti-Semitism. He's on the far left. We are quick to point it out on the other side, but often stop short of calling it out on our own side. The same could be said about the news of this week. The Trump administration has threatened to withhold federal funding from universities due to rising and unimpeded anti-Semitism on these campuses. Jews on the right are quick to support Trump's actions, even though we know Trump has ulterior motives for defunding these predominantly liberal colleges, and Jews are being used as a pawn. Jews on the left are quick to condemn Trump's actions, even though there is real and dangerous anti-Semitism going on these campuses that has gone unchecked for far too long. Both statements can be true. And the fact that both are true tells us something terrifying. It tells us that anti-Semitism has become an issue that divides rather than unites. It is an issue that each party can blame on the other, rightfully, rather than an issue that both parties can unite in fighting against. And when each party can use anti-Semitism as ammunition against the other, why would anyone be motivated to put a stop to it? This is not a new issue. Deborah Lipstadt, former U.S. Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, gave a powerful speech in February 2024 about Jew hatred on the right and left. She spoke of far-right extremists who peddle age-old tropes of Jewish conspiracies and racial superiority, and far-left extremists who believe all women, except the Jewish women raped on October 7th, or who want to globalize the Intifada, meaning attack Jews worldwide. She explains that anti-Semitism can be described as a horseshoe, where the far left and far right are closer to one another on this issue than they are to the center. In fact, recent studies have shown that a better predictor of anti-Semitism is not a right or left-wing perspective, but a conspiratorial worldview and a penchant for authoritarian government, which of course can describe someone on either end of the political spectrum. And here is the problem that we still face today. Lipstadt implores us. Those who place themselves at the right end of the spectrum see anti-Semitism on the left, and they see it clearly and accurately. Those on the left end of the political spectrum see the threat of anti-Semitism on the right, and they see it clearly and accurately. What each of them fail to see is the anti-Semitism right next to them, that which is expressed by people with whom they share many other ideas, beliefs, and political stances. If you can only see it, Lipstadt says, on the opposite side of the political transom, then I have to question whether your battle is with anti-Semitism or with your political opponents. If what we care about is attacking the other side, the status quo is working perfectly. But if what we care about is ending anti-Semitism, we have to be willing to call it out, not just from the other side, but from within our own side. In this week's Torah portion, we read a tragic story about two of Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu. They're priests, and they've just been inaugurated into their sanctuary service. Then the Torah tells us they offer a strange fire, which God had not commanded them to offer, and instantly a fire comes forth from God and consumes them, striking them dead. It seems like a drastic punishment for what was perhaps just a misunderstanding of God's will, or even perhaps such a great enthusiasm for offering sacrifices that they wanted to go above and beyond. Or a less generous read, perhaps they willingly, purposefully twisted what their role was as priests and what sacrifices they were meant to bring. All of the biblical commentators are focused on understanding the nature of their sin and their intentions behind it. But when I read this passage, I am struck by the fact that no one intervened to try to stop them. Where were the other priests, friends, allies, brothers of Nadav and Avihu? Where were they, warning them that they were on the wrong path? Not someone from another group, not someone who wanted to delegitimize the priestly class. Where was their fellow priest who could bravely and uncomfortably step forward to say, Nadav, Avihu, hold on a minute. You know I'm on your team. I am one of you. But you have taken a wrong turn. We do not have to be the enablers of the Nadavs and Avihus of our time. We do not have to remain silent. Not just elected officials, but every single one of us. We have the power to say not only that which is comfortable and convenient, but that which is challenging and impactful. Notice anti-Semitism on the other side. Yes. Get angry about it. Yes. Call it out. Yes. But notice anti-Semitism on your own side too. Get angry about that too. And most importantly, call that out too. Only then will our criticism be taken most seriously. Only then will our voices be heard and amplified most loudly. Only then will we have a chance of eradicating anti-Semitism in all its forms. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for joining the Park Avenue Synagogue family. I hope you enjoyed the sermon. Please consider supporting our online community by scanning the QR code or by going to supportpas.org or by making a donation. Shalom and see you in Shul.